Hey everybody, Brian here from quantlabs.net. Now, I'm very notorious for flip-flopping, but just wanted to give you my thoughts on something very important with a Microsoft backdoor Windows 10 controversy, because I keep getting alerts from various tech sources about the support of Windows and the mysterious stuff that Microsoft's been really pushing. Now, if you've been following me with Interactive Brokers, with the options out there to support connectivity into Interactive Brokers with the TWS Trader Workstation, pretty well I've settled on TWS Link 2, and that's all fine. That's Windows based, it's C# based. So today, after reading some more postings about it, it's got me more paranoid, extra, down the line, like probably, I don't know, 3, 6, 9, who knows, a year. So I'm always looking for better options to trade with Interactive Brokers, TWS, preferably in Linux. Now, I'm going to show you my options that I found, and it's going to get kind of bizarre. Now, if you follow me enough, I really like Matlab a lot. Now, I just put up this posting here. Now, what I'm about to show you is very important that you understand this. That what I'm going to really suggest is kind of contradicts what I've always gone on about using something like Matlab or a scripting language, like in this case, what I'm about to show you is Python. With it, you want to be in a more legacy compiled kind of language, but there's an option here that kind of took me back, but nonetheless, I thought I'd introduce all these options. I'm not going to really implement them and play with them, but really I'm really kind of dependent on people out there in my community who watch this via Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever, wherever you can comment. I want to hear from you, maybe even on Twitter, because I want to learn the best path, the most logical place to put the time in. Okay, so let's first talk about our options with Matlab for connectivity into Interactive Brokers TWS via Matlab. You can do it via Matlab directly with no other toolboxes outside of the trading one. But looking at the documentation, I can't say if it's a really solid way to go. I've always known about this one option on something called IB Matlab. Apparently it's quite good. It does support, and here's how I test the true full coverage of what's part of this whatever wrapper package that Interactive Brokers offers. So I'll always ask, does it support trailing stops? And if it doesn't, usually it means it's going to have other missing features. I had this conversation with somebody who was our expert on what they would suggest for Interactive Brokers with coming out of R. I looked at the package. The conversation continued on Twitter and didn't cover the Interactive Brokers trail stop and other things. So R definitely is not an option. I don't even know why you would consider R. But Matlab has a decent toolbox called IB Matlab. It does cover the trail stops somewhere in their documentation. This is in the documentation. So here you have some connectivity or features regarding trailing stops. Again, that brings it right down to the granular level of yes, this package, this toolbox will cover trailing stops. Very important. Okay, so that's an option. Now, that is possibly, but realize that this is not a cheap option. Okay, it's a $400 purchase. Okay, so if you come into here, you'll see it $400 US. I don't mind spending money, but for me that's a little hefty. 150 bucks, no problem. But that's pretty pricey. So then I started looking at Python. Everybody seems to be using Python. Why don't I just jump aboard like everybody else? Now, from what I gather in Python, and again, I'm no means a Python expert, so this is where I rely on Python experts, and hopefully somebody out there in the Python world can help me out on this. I can say without a doubt that there's two our Python packages that seem to cover something simple like trailing stops. And I'm going to show you those options. The first option is this thing called TWS. Now, TWS, let me see if I can get some more information on it. When you type in TWS trail stop, this is the really interesting part, is that the source code, which is Java, so basically, let me show you what this project is about. Now, I don't know if this is useful or not, but it is a wrapper in Python using the Java Interactive Brokers Java API. Okay, so you can write Java code directly into Python. That's great. And here's the Java code that handles the trail stop. I believe yeah, right here. This string that I guess you pass covers all the major order types: limit, market, stop, and trail. Awesome. And it's done in Python, which is even extra awesome. Now, this is cool in itself, okay? Now, if I look at the source code, I have no idea the last set of changes, if it's up to date. Let me just go into the trunk, or TWS. So you can see here the last set of updates were 2011, so that's 4 years. This is the danger of using languages like Python and R. Is if I was to adopt this, to me, which would be a critical Python package, and as I want to upgrade my Python versions, will this package, as is, be able to stay up to date with all those future Python function updates? Because at some point, one of these functions may break because it's dependent upon Python, let alone Java. Just putting that out there that a lot of people need to be aware of. So this has not been updated in 3 years. Another big factor that goes against Python is a lot of these type of packages get abandoned at some point and they're no longer updated. Very, very, very dangerous. So, that's all fine and good. But the question is, well, what about the Java source code itself? This has got to be useful somewhere along the line, no? And I think this could be something useful if you're willing to work within this Java world, again, and then just forget about Python. Because again, if you use something like this in Java alone with the Java interface, you kind of are in good hands, I guess, if you're willing to maintain this on your own. Either the Java or the Python code using this Python package. So that's a big caveat, but it could be still useful. So if anybody's got any opinions on this or feedback or knowledge on it, please let me know. So that's the first I'm always saying R package, Python package. Now, if you go to the second package, I've always known QuantStart, the Python guru for automated trading, uses Interactive Brokers, but how and where? So I do a search on Interactive Brokers, and this is what I found. So it's using IBPY, Interactive Brokers Pi. Now, if you go to the GitHub, I guess this is the latest, again, we have the same kind of problem, even though it's been updated 24 days ago. Again, I have no idea. I don't know what's being maintained here. Maybe there is some updates being. Yeah, it looks like there is some updates. Maybe this is another option. I don't know, but looking at it, it may be useful. Okay, and it's just another option. Okay, and there is some source code, but again, if you look at on the Google code, it hasn't been updated again for 6 years. but somebody seems to be maintaining it outside of this author, this bland PE person. So those are options to consider. For me, if I look at it and all these options and what I've presented, you can spend $400 on Matlab, fine. Or do you go with a Python or Python packages that are kind of outdated and with all the issues that I've addressed? Which would you go? Anybody else can fill the gaps for me? Let me know. Or would you go with just the Java pieces of here for this Pi TWS? Let me know what you think. I'd be interested. Send me a comment or whatever. I'll talk to you later. Or comment on my YouTube channel or on the bottom